In today's video, I am going to be talking about what is a business problem. Now, so far, what we have been doing is basically looking at how to read in data sets, how to clean them, how to visualize them, how to identify outliers, etc. Now we are coming to something which is a little more intuitive and business knowledge related. It is the problem of what is indeed a business problem. So, essentially, the question that we need to ask ourselves is how do we develop an analytics approach? So, typically, what we would do is we would begin from a business problem. This is the challenge or opportunity that a company faces that impacts its performance. It can be something like declining sales, customer churn, inefficiency, launching into a new company, a new market, etc. The business problem is the big, broad problem that the company faces. Once we have our business problem, we can then develop a research question. A research question is the specific query that we want to answer through data analysis. Now, a business problem is much broader than a research problem. For example, it might involve, approvals from the board or regulatory approvals, filing for a patent, etc. So there's a lot of stuff that is there in a business problem, which is not necessarily there in a research question. A research question is just basically what is the insight that we can get about our problem from analyzing the data that we have. The third step in the process is the analytics problem. This very often a research problem will cover some amount of what you are going to do in analytics. However, there is value in calling out the analytics problem separately because it kind of focuses a lot more on the tools and the techniques that analytics makes use of. So, for example, whether we are using descriptive analysis or predictive analysis or even prescriptive analysis. Let's look at a small case to concretize it. Retail Co., a chain of grocery stores, has observed declining profitability over the past year. The CEO is concerned and wants to address the issue to improve overall performance while adhering to budgets. So, what is our business problem here? The business problem is often a restatement of the background, and it is basically how can Retail Co. improve profitability across its stores while staying in budget? What is your research question? Now, typically we can divide the research question into two parts. The first is your descriptive part. So, in terms of description, what we are doing is trying to take data which relates to the overall problem and analyzing it. For example, to identify the problem of falling profits, we would be looking at what are the sales trends across product categories and stores over the past year. Which stores and regions have the highest or lowest profitability? How do cost components such as labor utilities, utilities, etc. vary across stores? Now let's look at what we would analyze under predictive analytics. Here maybe what we would do is try and identify future store profitability based on historical sales, costs, and customer demographics. Another thing which we might want to do is to look at which factors such as product mix, promotions, or operational costs are the strongest predictors of store profitability. Now, as I said, let's come to the analytics approach. In terms of descriptive analytics, we dive one step further and we note a point such as analyzing historical sales and cost data to identify profitability trends and key drivers. We can visualize regional and category level performance. In terms of predictive, we can build a forecasting model to predict future trends of profitability based on various factors. We can use the regression and machine learning models to identify actionable predictors of profitability. So as you can see, we can begin with a business problem, which is the broader issue. The research problem breaks it down into the data-related issues. And the analytics approach connects the data and the techniques to address questions leading to informed decision making. Let's look at another one. Subscriptify is a subscription-based video streaming platform, and it is facing an increasing number of customers who are cancelling or churn. The company's leadership team is concerned and wants to understand customer behavior to reduce and retain more subscribers. So, let's see what could be the business problem. I think the business problem here is fairly straightforward. How can Subscriptify reduce customer churn while maximizing customer retention efforts? So what is the research question? That's basically Subscriptify is an online platform and therefore has a lot of data about its customers, both in terms of their demographics and their usage patterns. So that is what Subscriptify should mine. In descriptive analytics, we could look at what are the profiling churned versus non-churned customers in terms of demographics, usage patterns, etc. Identifying specific patterns which are associated with slightly higher levels of churn. How does customer engagement, for example, the number of logins, differ between customers who churn and those who stay? Now about predictive. Predictive is really about trying for the company to try and figure out proactively what can it use the data to predict, and once it has those predictions, what can it do with them? So the first could be developing a model to predict likelihood of a current subscriber churning within the next 3 months based on their usage patterns and demographic data. We can also look at which customer segments are most likely to churn and what factors contribute to that. Now we come to the analytics approach. For the descriptive, we would just be generating a bunch of reports on churn patterns by age, subscription, usage pattern. For the predictive, we would use a churn prediction model using machine learning techniques such as logistic regression or decision trees. Once we have the model, we would assign churn probabilities to individual customers and to enable targeted retention campaigns. So that, as you can see, would be a very valuable kind of exercise. I hope you liked this video, which was basically about the understanding the business problem, the research problem, and the analytics approach. So in the next video, I'll be taking up different types of modeling approaches.